I mean, you can learn how to chart, not just to help you pinpoint ovulation, but also to learn about your cycle. It shows you how long your luteal phase is, how long your follicular phase is. It shows your temperatures. So, if they're consistently low, it can be a sign of poor thyroid function. So that can be a sign that, you may need to have your thyroid checked. If your luteal phase is shorter than 10 days, then that doesn't give your body enough time to prepare the endometrial lining for the fertilized egg to implant. So that can be an issue. It could be progesterone issue. So you can learn so much from a chart. The main issue people have with charting is measuring the temperature and making sure they had enough sleep. And this becomes quite problematic for women trying to get pregnant with their second baby if they have a young toddler in the house, and they wake up in the middle of the night, they come to their bed, or you have to go to see them, and so your sleep is disrupted, and then you have to go to the bathroom. So
Right. It's true.
say, gosh, I have no idea if these temperature readings are correct because I'm getting up and I'm not sleeping properly. So you have different options today. You have the AVA bracelet that measures all your data while you're sleeping, and so it's not really, it's measuring averages, so it doesn't matter if you got up. For some women it makes no difference, if they actually get up out of bed or not, or it's a tiny little difference. For others it makes a big difference. So I always advise women, look, just measure anyway and compare, then you will know what your body does and where you're at. But in any case, I think if you chart for 3 months, it will give you a pretty good idea of, how long your cycle is. So going back to your question about 28-day cycle and ovulating around day 14, that's not always the case for every woman. If your cycle is, 26 days, you're probably ovulating earlier than 14 days, but it doesn't have to be. It could be just that your luteal phase is shorter, which is why it's good to measure that. So there are a few apps, a lot of women like using Fertility Friend, I think. Then there is Natural Cycles. So these are apps which help you plot your cycle. So you still need to do the measurements yourself, or you can also use computers like Babycomp or the bracelet AVA that I mentioned. So there are a few gadgets out there that can help you with this. The problem with the ovulation sticks is that, one, they cost money. Two, different brands can give you different results, and sometimes they're just relying on, if you're not using, the expensive digital ones, if you're just relying on the ones that, show you a couple of lines, then you kind of go, well, is this a really faint line or is it a darker line? Let me do another one. So it can, it can cost a lot of money. Plus, on top of that, they're looking for LH surge. So LH surge precedes ovulation. So when they can give you a positive result for LH surge, but you actually don't know if you ovulated. So I'm a big fan of cervical mucus and observing your fertile mucus, because that's a true predictor of what's going on. Because when your body is producing lots of estrogen, leading up to ovulation, you're going to be producing lots of fertile mucus, or the super stretchy egg white mucus. And that is a sign, that ovulation is coming. And it's this sort of mucus where sperm can survive in. And so you really want to have your intercourse when you see that fertile mucus, because you want a medium for sperm to travel to the uterus and then continue their travels to the fallopian tubes. And that fertile mucus is also protecting them from bacteria in the vagina, and it's feeding them. So it's a fantastic medium for the sperm to reach your fallopian tubes. And it's kind of your body's way of telling you now is the time. So try to really learn how to measure your mucus. And it's not something that you have to obsess about as well and, make extra trips to the bathroom to check it. You just check it in the morning when you wake up, when you're going to the bathroom anyway, once in the afternoon, once in the evening, and you just leave it at that. And you can also, pay attention to how it feels when you're walking. Does it feel wet and slippery or dry? So, you know, some women just go by that as well. They don't necessarily check, but some would like to check, especially in the initial months where they're not familiar with it, till they, you know, get a bit of a feel for the cycle. So I recommend, you know, at least for 3 months, chart with temperatures and observing mucus, and then you're going to have a pretty good idea of what's normal for you, and you'll be able to pick up any abnormalities, you know, when your normal cycle is not recurring, or like I said, if your temperature is too low in the first half of your cycle, could be sign of thyroid issues.